Hey everyone, Tankenstein here, and welcome to Spaded. In this episode, I'll be showcasing the M3A1 Stuart. This is a rank 1 battle rating 2.3 light tank in the American Ground Forces tech tree, and this vehicle is perfect for Spaded, being that it is an optional vehicle that you do not need to research and sits in the same spot as the regular M3 Stuart. Now this is the lowest BR vehicle that I have thus far covered in this series, but again, it is still a good candidate for it, being that this is again a totally optional vehicle. Now that being said, it does have a slightly different cannon in the M6 cannon versus the M5 cannon on the M3 Stuart, and also slightly different armor values, a higher top speed, and a few other things here and there, but largely very similar vehicles. So this will be an interesting thing. Now that said, in the first match, I'll be doing this vehicle totally stock. Second match, I'll be playing it about halfway spaded, and again, kind of give you some details about what I feel about the vehicle at that time. And then finally, of course, fully spaded, at which point I will tell you whether or not I feel that this vehicle is worth it. And really just throughout the video, I'll be going over all the upgrades, how they feel as I get a little bit closer to fully spaded, that sort of thing. Now that being said, please of course consider liking, commenting, subscribing, whatever you would like to do. But either way, let's get into it. So here we are finally with the M3A1 Stuart. This is an improved variant of the Stuart that features a better cannon than what you find on the standard M3, but that's pretty much it as far as I could tell. There's not really all too much going on here, unfortunately, and it sees a huge increase in BR. I mean, huge, like 2 BR placements higher than the standard M3. Now, this does have a somewhat smaller turret. Now, the difference is between this and the standard M3, at least in real life, was that the M3A1 was supposed to have a stabilizer as opposed to a vertical stabilizer, as opposed to the M3, which did not. And this also had some other slight changes, like fewer LMGs, whatever, right? LMGs don't really matter all too much in this game. At lower BR, one can make an argument that they do, but, you know, just due to more exposed crew members that you might have to fight. But otherwise, it doesn't really matter all too much. Now, when it comes to this vehicle, again, there's not too much of a difference. Now, the cannon does make some level of difference. I think you get around 6 to 10 millimeters more armor pen with it, because it is a higher velocity cannon. So that is certainly very nice, but to what extent? Like, what does it really matter? I'm not really entirely sure. So we got this guy here. And as you can see, at least at the range at which I'm shooting him, it doesn't really appear to be doing much. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Okay. Okay, I got the machine gunner. This is like shooting at a fair or something. Very interesting. Finally got the engine, and cannot damage the crew for my life here. Just please. Oh my gosh. This is so, and this is one of the bigger problems with this vehicle. Ultimately, it's that you have just a slightly better cannon, which means that you have more armor pen slightly, but it's not commensurate to the increased armor of the tanks that you'll be facing. Like, look at this. It's not all that accurate of a cannon either, because as you can see, finally the T-126 took half of my ammunition, and I didn't really miss more than 1 or 2 shots, and the shots that I did miss, for the most part, were just due to the gun being inaccurate rather than me. So, yeah, I mean, regardless though, fully stocked, this vehicle is quick, obviously. It is quicker. As you can see, I'm going 58 kilometers per hour. The standard M3 goes about 50 or maybe 51 if I'm not mistaken. So this does feature a pretty decent increase in performance. I mean, you're looking at around 10-15%, give or take, higher top speed than what you'd find on the standard M3, which is nice, you know, by any measure. That is a decent increase. Now, ultimately, you have less armor. Now, the armor, one could argue, is definitely better presented in this vehicle. You know, again, you have the lower profile turret, which is nice. You have, you know, I believe fewer rivets. I don't really know if that matters too much, but it is a better presented vehicle overall. And thus, I would imagine that, at least pound for pound, so to speak, the armor is arguably better on this. But again, the cannon is not really all that great, especially fully stock. This cannon is rough. I mean, you can, of course, take out vehicles like what I just did right there. I mean, if you could see here, we are fully pushed up against the enemy. So don't get at me for base camping, because I'm not base camping to base camp. I'm base camping, so to speak, because there's nothing else I can do here. So here we are in the halfway spaded match of the M3A1, and probably the thing I notice most of all here is that it is up-tiered a lot. I mean, I don't think I've been in a single down tier with this at all. It is just constantly facing 3.0, 3.3 BR vehicles sometimes. It's just insane. It's totally absurd and unfortunate as well, because the cannon on this thing is decent at, I would say, 2.3 BR. It's not fantastic, not terrible, it's just decent. But it has to, again, face pretty high BR vehicles relative to it. Now, of course, you do have some success kind of doing what I'm doing, in that if you just fire enough shots at enemies, you should be able to pen occasionally. But one of the problems with the ammunition, and this is the improved ammunition, mind you, one of the problems with the ammunition on this vehicle, and yes, I do see that Strook, is that it just doesn't do much post-pen. It's 37mm APCBC ammunition. So it does have improved pen characteristics, so it does go through around 10mm more of armor, the M51B1 shell, but again, it does not really do too much once it's actually through there. So we have ourselves an enemy, had an enemy. The T26 A4 is just not good. Hopefully it doesn't kill me. Okay, I will take the assist if it means I survive. None too bad. Is that an enemy over there? I'm not sure. That's a bush. Common mistake in War Thunder. Now, again, I mean, this thing has about the same exact turret traverse rate. Actually, not even about. It does have the same exact turret traverse rate as what you would find on a... Oh, let's see here. Got him. Thankfully, I know my weak spots, which is a must on this vehicle. If you do not know your weak spots, enemy weak spots, you are going to die. But the turret traverse rate on this is the same as what you find on the standard M3, despite having an improved turret. Now, or smaller turret, rather. The armor profile on this may be slightly better. I'm not entirely sure. However, I do know that this does have slightly lower armor overall. Is that the enemy? That is the enemy. Got one more shot on him. Successful. I don't think this guy knows I'm here. Maybe he does. I got lucky as heck right there. And, oh, good. I got the gunner. And I got the final kill. Awesome. So right now I've got 5 kills. I mean, this thing can still definitely put out some damage. But I got 5 kills for using 20 rounds of ammunition, which is quite a bit, you know? And I'm not being inaccurate here either. So it's a tough one to really kind of call here. Like right there, easy enough shot. Probably should have went through the second time. Let's see if I can kill this guy. Maybe. Got the engine, nice. And got the kill. And I finally died. So 7 kills, 1 assist. Not too bad. Pretty happy with that. But ultimately, I'm also facing inexperienced players. Now, the thing is here, again, for the BR increase, I'm not so sure. But again, this was the halfway spaded match. Let's get fully spaded. So here we are, fully spaded, and if you didn't notice, this is the M3A1 USMC, so technically it's the premium variant of the M3A1, but literally it's the same exact vehicle except with premium bonuses. So that being said, this is of course fully spaded, and I can tell you this right away, that it has... Ooh, that's not good. Woo! that was close. Yeah, he killed me before. Now, what I can tell you is that this has really nice mobility. Of course, the mobility is going to be improved over top of a halfway spaded, whatever. So this thing can actually get up to speed very, very quickly, and having that increase in speed over the stock M3 is very nice. You know, again, you're seeing around what, like around 15% better top speed, and it's noticeable because you can actually reach the higher top speed pretty damn quickly. Now, of course, your power to weight ratio is about the same. In fact, actually, it might be slightly worse in the M3A1, being that it has the same amount of horsepower. However, it does weigh about 0.2 tons more, so technically it's got a lower power to weight, although not really by much, and certainly not noticeable. But technically speaking, yes, a lower power to weight. Now, again, this does have a better cannon, which does throw the shells out at a higher velocity. That's how you can see, like, the 87 millimeters of armor pen on the top shell on this is actually gained because it has a higher velocity. I think it's something like 25 meters per second faster coming out of the barrel. Thus, it goes through more armor, essentially, which is nice, but again, it's not really all too much. And really, again, for such a large BR increase relative to what you get, I would have expected, or at very least hoped for, something like an HMG being mounted on top of this, because the HMG would be substantially more effective versus a lot of light tanks. Like, I could have killed that thing easily with an HMG, whereas the LMGs on this are really only going to be usable versus open-top tank destroyers or just open-top vehicles in general. So, in reality, do I think that this vehicle is worth it? No. You know, it's such an easy vehicle to unlock, so I mean, if you have a premium tank, especially one that's a higher BR, then, you know, why not unlock this? I guess it's easy enough. You know, it's such a low BR vehicle. Ooh, we have an SPAA. Normally, I do not like going into bases, but if there's an SPAA here, I want to make sure that he's dead. Do not like those screwing with my buddies. Is he gonna see me? It doesn't matter. I got killed. So that said, do I think that this vehicle is worth it? No. Again, if you have a premium vehicle, sure, I guess you can get this. Not at all that bad. But for a 1.7 to a 2.3 PR increase, just look at the stats. 18.8 degrees per second, 18.8. 10 to 20 vertical guidance, 10 to 20. Reload rate, 3.0, 3.0. It's got even better armor on the standard M3, although a bigger turret. And again, the same exact power to weight ratio, albeit the M3A1 does have a higher top speed, likely due to its suspension or some other changes that maybe I'm just not aware of. So in all, I don't really think that if you're grinding through the American tech tree at the M3A1 is worth it. But again, if you have excess RP and you just want to kind of unlock it, let's say if you've got a premium vehicle that you're using, like the GM or the XM1 GM, then sure, you know, it's not a bad vehicle to get. But if you're just really trying to go through the tech tree and make a glut of vehicles, I mean, this is like the easiest part of the tech tree to get through. So you just want to get through it as quickly as possible so you can start getting into better vehicles. And in my opinion, at 2.3 BR, the M3A1 is simply not worth it. Believe it or not, it's just not that big of an upgrade It's only about 8 to 10 millimeters more, again, of armor pen for any of its shells compared to the M3, and you have a large BR increase because of that. And that large BR increase at 2.3 BR, again, that thing sits, will put you into up tiers all the damn time, whereas the M3, the stock M3, fares much better and has fewer huge up tiers and will oftentimes be down tiered quite a bit, much to its advantage. So that said, thank you so much for watching. Please, of course, consider liking, commenting, subscribing. You guys know the dealio, but either way, thanks again. See you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.